Hi and welcome to day 3 of week 6 of training cycle 2 of 2021. The grind continues, man, and it is a grind at this moment, at this point. It's just a lot of work every single day on top of school. You come home from school completely exhausted. All you want to do is just fall on your face and sleep for 15 hours straight. But no, you got to eat a bunch of food, you got to do the homework, you got to do the training. It's fucking draining, man. It's draining, but it's not draining to the point to where it's not sustainable for, a couple more weeks. I think I have like 1.5 months to go until school ends and we have the summer break. And at that point, I'm going to have to continue doing schoolwork and other things. Because I'm so far behind, but I won't have as much stuff to do as I currently do, and I will also be able to sleep more. No one's going to wake me up. Well, actually, my parents are going to wake me up, but I'm not going to have to wake up at 6 or 7 a.m., depending on if I have real school or online classes. So that's the benefit of the summer break. So I'm looking forward to that. But currently, I'm in the situation that I'm in. I have to make the most of it. So today I hit a 125 kilo squat, and I hit some pretty solid back off work with 105 kilos, which is 20 kilos less. And squats on its way up. The goal for this training cycle, as you guys know, is 140 kilos. It's still far away, but it's getting closer by the week, right? I was going to say by the day, that isn't really true, but my strength does fluctuate during the week, but when it comes to like the weekly and monthly perspective, I'm making pretty significant progress all the time. And I'm also gaining quite a lot of body fat. I'm not worried about it because I'm clearly not fat, but I don't know how much I've gained, probably over 2 kilos of body fat so far this year. And I actually saw a old photo of me flexing from 2019, from December 2019, and I looked fucking insane. Like, I was so shredded. I was significantly leaner than I am right now. So you guys can only imagine how lean I have been. And I was very disappointed with that overhead press, but yeah. I was talking about leanness. I'm in a bulking phase right now, obviously. I'm gaining body weight, getting bigger, getting stronger, thicker, denser. Cutting is something that I will do in the future. It comes for later, right? And I don't do it for the reasons of, oh, I want to look shredded for the beach. No, I don't want to lose all that progress. What I am going to do is if I ever get in a competition, have to fight in Taekwondo, then I'll take around 3 days to strip off around 5 kilos or so of fat and water weight. And then I'm probably going to look pretty insane. So the goal for the end of this year is if there is a national championship, I'm going to be in the under 78 kilogram weight class. Right now I weigh 78 kilograms. To be optimal size for that weight class, I probably need to weigh around 83 kilos. So that would mean that I would need to cut just over 5 kilograms, which that would be fairly optimal. So I think you guys can imagine the physique that I have right now, add on, 3 kilos of muscle or something, maybe 2 kilos of fat, who knows, probably like 4 kilos of muscle, 1 kilo of fat, something along those lines. And then you strip down a little bit of fat and really, dry yourself out, get some of that water weight out, and I'm probably going to look insane for like half an hour, and then I'm going to balloon back up. But yeah, I have some plans with this shit. And, for those long-term followers, you have probably noticed that I've gained fat, and that's totally fine. That is actually the plan. That was the whole thing. Because as a drug-free lifter, gaining very large amounts of muscle mass without gaining any fat is it's an uphill battle, and that is like an understatement. That it is an uphill battle. It is a war. It is a war. It is a war which you almost cannot win. Gaining like 10 kilos of muscle, for example, while putting on 0 kilos of fat, right? That is not something that a natural guy does unless he's fat to begin with, right? If you're like my height, like average height, 180, 181 centimeters, like just under 6 foot, and you weigh 100 kilos, and you're still pretty weak, meaning most of that weight is fat, right, fine, you probably can gain 10 kilos of muscle, while gaining 0 kilos of fat. Probably you can do that. But when you're at my level of leanness, putting 10 kilos on from here, like, that's a completely different person. I don't think people really appreciate how much 10 kilograms of pure muscle mass is, how much actual physical size and how much definition and how much strength gained that entails, right? It's not just like gaining 3 kilos of muscle. 10 kilos, guys. Like I said before, that's a completely different person. And there are a lot of people who have been training for a while who will never, ever, ever in their entire lifetime gain 10 kilos more of muscle. Even if they train for 20 more years. Because we'll have a limited potential when it comes to these things. Right? We can always go a little bit further. But put it this way. My body, without drugs, is not going to squat 500 kilograms. Know what I mean? And then the question is, where's the limit? Is it 200? Probably not. Is it 300? Sounds about right. Should be somewhere along there. And, is it 350? Probably can't do that. Is it 250? Probably can do a bit more. So we'll have to figure it out. By the way, these are my lats. I do believe that my lats are my best body part. They have been that way from day one. Obviously, they've never been this big. But I've always had pretty serious lats. And actually, when I started training, it was mainly my chest that stood out. And that was because I did a bunch of push-ups and didn't really train much else. But pretty quickly, my lats would become my strongest body part in proportion to everything else. And I do believe that originally stemmed from, just climbing trees, climbing monkey bars, doing pull-ups just as a kid, do I even? I think I have memories of not being able to do pull-ups, but I mean, I have been able to do them for a very long time, and from a young age. I don't know what kind of age, I can't tell you. I don't know if it's 8 or if it's 11, I don't know, but I do know that I was doing pull-ups way before everyone that I knew was doing them. And yeah, these rows, at that point, I'm just fatigued, can't do them properly. But yeah, we all have our genetic strong points and weak points, and I don't really necessarily think that my lats are just a magical muscle or anything like that. I just think it's a case of I probably put more total work on them compared to everything else. So that's probably why they are slightly actually not slightly, they're actually pretty overdeveloped in proportion. And they look good, they look like, I like my lats. I'd love to have way bigger lats as well. And I don't think they look disproportionate, but strength-wise, they are absolutely disproportionate. Because if you compare my pulling strength to my benching strength, basically, I can horizontal and vertical pull way more than I can horizontal and vertical press, right? Although that is kind of standard for people who haven't trained for a very long time. For example, a guy who has been training for 10 years may bench press 150 kilos, right? Let's say he weighs 95 kilos, he benches 150, and, doing a chin-up then with 55 kilos may actually be more challenging than doing a 150 kilo bench press, if that makes sense. So that way, you could actually say that that person is stronger pressing than pulling. And that's actually pretty standard for people who have trained for a very long time. For me personally, in my current situation, haven't been training for more than, 3.5 years. So for me, my lats are still well ahead of my pressing muscles, basically chest, shoulders, and triceps. I do believe that my chest, my shoulders, my triceps, holy shit, that 100 went up fast. Yeah, I do believe my pressing strength in general is probably going to get closer to my pulling strength, upper body pulling strength, that is, upper back pulling strength, whatever. The gap is probably going to close, but I do believe that I'm always going to be able to chin up more than I can bench in total weight. I just can't see a situation where, I reach a 150 bench before I reach a, a 150 total weight chin up, for example. I just can't see that happening. But those are big numbers and they take time, so I'm not even worried about those right now. Currently, I'm worried about getting to 100, getting to 105 on the bench press. That's for this training cycle. Next training cycle, after summer break, the goal will be to get from 105 to 120. So I already have big goals for this year. I'm not focused on 130, 140, 150. I'm solely focused on 105, like 100 right now, 105 and 120. Those are the three bench press numbers I'm thinking about right now. Nothing else matters. It's just those, right? As well as just continuing to put on strength where I can in my overhead press, in my bench press. Just every 2.5 kilos counts. And every day that I can successfully complete a lift without failing it counts, right? Every day where I can really put some effort into my back off work counts. Every day where I maintain the exact same very difficult lift counts. Every day when I put in a lot of effort to eat a lot of food counts, right? It's all these, like, they aren't even little things. They're all difficult. Like, the total amount of difficulty that I have to go through on a daily basis to gain strength it's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't think that many people in the population would be willing to put in this much time to training. And I do believe that I'm one of the few. Now, that isn't to say that I have a magical work ethic or some shit, because most people can probably work harder than I work on training, but work on other things. But when it comes to training, I have most people beat, at least right now. Training well past 2 hours a day, doing weights, full body, pretty high volume actually at this point, every single day, right? After workouts, doing jump rope, hitting new records on the jump rope all the time, stretching every single day. There's a lot of shit that I do, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of energy, right? It's difficult. Knowing that I could just literally take off, like when you account for the YouTube and the shower and the stretching and everything, I could take off like 3.5 hours off my daily routine, and just feel way better if I just took my training out. But then again, that's not me. That's not my future. My future doesn't lie in, taking away this stuff. This is my future. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not a competitive athlete at the highest level, but I do run a YouTube channel, and I can coach people in the future. I can start some form of business that has something to do with this, something to do with training, something to do with cardiovascular and muscular training, something to do with training for athletes, strength and conditioning. I'm passionate about and interested in these things. So this training is actually more significant to me and to my future than some of you may realize. At any rate, I need to win a national championship. If I don't, that's just one of those things that when I am on my deathbed, I will absolutely regret never winning a national championship. And that thought honestly frightens me. And that's one of the things that makes me go up in the attic and train for like well over 2 hours every single day. Just knowing that, I will regret it if I can't manage to do it. And I know that I have it inside of me to become a national champion, but the amount of pain and the amount of consistency in that pain is unbearable for most to reach that level, right? I mean, like I said before, we're talking about a full year dedicated to getting in phenomenal physical shape, and where every single week, pretty much, except for like 2 or 3 weeks, is really, really mentally and physically strenuous and taxing. Like, this is so fucking draining, and not to the point to where I can't do anything else, but to the point to where, like, when I'm done with this shit, all I want to do is just sleep, right? If I could take a pill to just, sleep faster, if that made sense, like, man, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I would probably take it in a heartbeat. Well, actually, probably not, because most, like, medications and most short-term fixes usually have side effects, and, obviously there isn't a pill like that, but if there was a hypothetical sleep pill that just, you slept an hour, but as long as you were taking the pill, you recovered, like 10 hours worth of recovery, man, I would take it. I really fucking need it right now, man. Going through school and doing all these presentations and tests, right? Today, I had one test and one presentation, right? On Friday, I have another test. Next week, I probably have another test that I don't even know about yet. So, it just continues. But it's not relentless, right? It does come to an end. And it does come quicker than you know it. Because when you're in it, right, you can't see. You're face down in a swamp, just crawling forwards. You can't see anything. But once you're through it, you'll notice that swamp wasn't that bad, right? It's only 5 meters long, and there was a road right next to it, but you didn't have the energy to look up and look around you and look at your surroundings. So that's kind of a weird analogy. What I really mean to say is school comes to an end. I just need to be patient and continue to put in hard work there, and in the future, I will reap the rewards of my hard work. And if I don't work hard enough, then I will be punished for it in the future. And that's just how this whole life thing works. You can't have the cake and eat it too. You can't have the cake and eat it too. It's true pretty much everywhere. Yeah, my good morning form looks kind of weird when I'm walking it out, and that's because I put the bar very far down at my back. And that's because it rolls up during my sets. But when I put it really far down, it only rolls up a couple centimeters, and then it stops, because the center knurling on the bar grips onto, like, the skin on my back and keeps the bar in place. So these good mornings are a winner. I'm working my entire spinal erectors except for my neck, and I'm really working my hamstrings and glutes. So I'm going to continue like this, and I really need to stretch and shower and sleep now. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.